By freeing up your time, you get the invaluable benefit of freeing up your mind. Just going through this book, Who Not How, which is a fantastic read. And one of the chapters talks about time creates money. And time really is about creating money. Managing our time is really the framework of all things, because if you can't manage your time, you'll never be able to execute on anything because you're so busy running from here to there and you're not executing on the things that are most important because you're not managing your time. So one of the takeaways in this chapter is you can't have money freedom until you have achieved time freedom. We often think, well, if I just get the money, I'll find the time, but we really need to understand how to achieve time freedom to achieve money freedom, because they both go hand in hand. This was something that I really had to work on early in my real estate career, is how to find time to do all the things. I don't know if you've ever thought of this, but gosh, I wish I could buy time. So if there was a time machine, I could just go over and drop a couple of quarters or loonies or even $100 bills to buy a little bit of time back on a day. That would be pretty special, but we know that isn't something we can do. So it's just a matter of how do we understand the value of time, prioritizing what's important, and then executing on those in the moment. One of the things that's worked so well for me is really doing it in the moment. Like so often I see people, oh, I'll get to that later. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it next week. But there's nothing like doing it in the present. I know time blocking is really important, but there's something really special about when it comes to your mind, just executing on it at that moment and getting it off my plate. There's this thing called the task monster that chases people that are very, very busy. And that monster wants to eat you alive. It's really chewing away at your time, chewing away at your priority list, like how do you prioritize? But for me, if I can just deal with things in the fly and on the moment and get shit done, so to speak, everything seems to flow better for me. The freedom that I have with my money is only the freedom if I've been able to create time. Really, when you find the who in your life to help you with that, that also becomes a much easier process. The who certainly does help me have money freedom and time freedom. Finding the who's. That wasn't something that I learned early on. It took time. That was probably my Achilles heel in my first 10, 12 years of real estate, where I thought that I could do it all myself. In fact, I had so much pride in doing it myself that it limited my ability to grow. And so there was a point where I hit a ceiling in production, a ceiling in the amount of money I earned, because I was so focused on how do I do this? How do I do that? And trying to fit that all into my world. And then I had a who come into my life, a really cool guy. His name's Ray. And Ray said, you're capable of so much more than what you're doing today. And I said, well, what do you mean? And he said, listen, if you would find some people that would come around you and help you, you could accomplish so much more. And that was the first person that was kind of the who that really helped me understand that I was capable of more if I just allowed more people to help me, because I was committed to just doing it on my own. In fact, there's a moment while I was getting an award at a RE/MAX conference that my ego of doing it all myself got in the way of this. And my beautiful wife, Jolene, poked me later on and said, how do I fit into this? Because I was so proud that I was doing this on my own. My ego was my amigo in this moment. And somebody asked, wow, how did you get that award? What did you have to do to receive that award? He said, well, I did it all myself. I was so proud that I did it myself. And that's when my good wife, Jolene, poked me in the ribs and said, did I help you? And that was a bit of a gut check for me, realizing, no, it isn't just about me. There's many people that helped me achieve that award. And that was kind of the start of me understanding and learning how important the who was. And that's when Ray entered my life and shared with me that comment. You know, there's so many things that if you're open to allowing people to speak in your life, that greatness will come behind that. And when you're open, there'll be people that will tap you here, tap you there. Pretty soon you're connecting these dots going, oh my goodness, this is where I need to go for my own self-development. What is the best version of you? You need others to help you with the best version of you. And it's really about the who, not the how. So find who's in your life that will help you with getting the how done, and greatness will come from that. So a great takeaway from this chapter. Improving how you spend your time automatically improves your ability to make more money. Same concept. How efficient are you with spending your time. There's that great commercial of a home improvement store. Talk about being a two-tripper. You know, when you go to the store, you get back home and you've forgotten something, that's a two-tripper. You've just spent twice as much time as you should have. I always think about that when I'm going about my day. Am I going to make this a one-tripper or a two-tripper? And by being a two-tripper, there's always things that I'm looking ahead in my schedule for the day, for the week, to help me piece things together. So if I'm going on an appointment to a certain location in the valley or the city, I'm thinking, what other things can I do as I'm on my way to that appointment? Or is there something else that I can take care of at that appointment that will cause it not to be a two-tripper, a three-tripper? Always think of how you can maximize your day, your time, your minutes, because this saves you hours, days, weeks, years in your lifetime by allowing you to think forward. We're just playing out a movie. What's the next chapter in the movie? What's the next scene in the movie? What's the next chapter in the book? Anytime that we can look forward and plan for it, we're saving ourselves an immense amount of time. Being a strategic planner is so key in all areas of your life. I talk about the 5 F's: fitness, family, finance, fun, faith. All of those need to have a strategic plan, and they all wrap up into one large strategic plan. They're all part of the same. We've been talking earlier about having a life coach. We've been talking earlier about how we need to love ourselves in order for us to love others. All of that is all pieced together. You can't be good in one area and not be good in the other area and then have a whole life. If my fitness is not strategic, if my faith is not strategic in how I want to live, if my finances are not strategic, all of those things need to be tied together. And of course, that is also part of the time management, fitting those all in and giving presence to each one. Like each one has to feel in that moment like you're all present to do it well. You can't be at the gym and be on your phone working on a deal. You got to be present in the gym to really do the fitness at the gym. Then you have to be present with your family if you really want family to be important. Like each one deserves your full attention in that moment. And if you're not, then it's really challenging. You know, you're with people and they're busy on their phone, yet they're talking to you, but they're so busy, they're really not there. Like I just looked at my phone now and I see all kinds of things taking me away from what I'm now speaking about. That's the challenge of not being present. Capacity, presence, making people feel like they're the most important person in that moment. That is a challenge. I've struggled with that personally. Changing hats and being multiple different people to different people is really challenging. Probably the best thing that I can do or anybody can do is just be your authentic self, be your real self at all times. At times you're just going to fail in that moment. By the way, I know when I'm not being present. I know when I'm failing in that moment for the people that are in front of me or the task that's in front of me. At that moment, you just need to stop and actually back up. And probably the most important thing at that point, if there's people with you and you're actually not being present with them, is just say, listen, can we start over? I think I've messed up here. I think I have failed in this moment. And that allows us to reset. And when you ask for a reset, people give you that reset. They will gladly give you that reset in most cases. I've had many things that have happened in my life that maybe would put people down. Maybe they'd be down forever. Like at 14, hitting a building with a motorcycle, breaking my neck, waking up unconscious, then conscious, and realizing that I could not move. I was paralyzed from the neck down. Maybe I should be grateful for that moment, because that moment at a young age allowed me to find that inner strength within me, which maybe has fulfilled so many other moments in my life where I would have maybe just turtled, failed, not fought through it. But at 14, knowing that I had to work extremely hard to learn to use these hands, to walk, go to the bathroom, even eat, really shaped and formed who I am today. Maybe we need to have more suffering as we're younger to help us fight through some of these things